Hello everyone and welcome back to my franchise zoo called Veluwe Zoo. And as you can see, today we are going to start off the episode a little bit different than normal. Because in the previous episode I built this reptile house and I started on the inside, and while I was editing it I did see that the camera work and stuff was horrible to look at. So this episode I'm gonna do it a little bit different. So I'm gonna start off with a little tour around my reptile house. So I really hope you guys will enjoy it. So right now we are almost entering the building, and as you can see the roof really looks great with this light. So I basically created a circle basically created a giant circle gap towards the second floor of this building, and really with this roof it really looks good. So right now we are going to the left side of the building. So well, yes, it's the left side, but it depends on which door you use to enter the building. But right now we are walking by some of the exhibit animals, and these are actually two of the snakes that are in the game. So the yellow anaconda and the boa constrictor. And right now you can already see one of the beautiful viewing areas, and you can see the big building on the back for the flamingos. And this is basically the other side of the exhibits right now. As you can see, I tried to cover up the entire ceiling with rocks to create the tropical feeling all around the building, and basically finishing everything off with some foliage and that kind of stuff. So right now it's basically the other part of the building, which looks more or less the same, again with two different exhibit animals. And this is basically the other side of the same exhibit animals, and I really like the rock work around these exhibits. It just gives you like more or less a cave-ish feeling, but with the tropical vibe all around it. And I did want to do this part a little bit different, so I created this indoor habitat for these giant turtles, and it really looks nice. It makes it a little bit different from all the other parts of this building. So right now we are walking towards the second floor of this building, and it's a little bit basic, but I do really like the look of it. So it will be not really a food court. We have a drink shop and we have a food shop on this floor, and the guests can just sit around, have a drink and have something to eat, basically with a good view over the park. So in my previous episode I asked you guys for some suggestions for the animals around the building, and one comment I really liked was to create a crocodile habitat around the building. So I'm gonna build more or less a bridge towards the building, and people have to cross the bridge and they will walk over some crocodiles. So we are going to start off with that build right now. So for this build we are switching to the other side of the building. So in my previous episode you've seen me placing all the decoration and rocks and trees around the building, and this is basically the opposite side of that one. So we will have three different entrances, and this will be one of them. So right now I'm basically using the terrain tool to create the big lake for the crocodiles, and right now I'm just struggling with the pathing tool to create the bridge, but in the end it looks perfectly. It's just a little bit of a struggle. So trying to get the water in, and then you have to remove the path again because it's obstructing each other, and it's just a little struggle, but we will get there. And I did help to raise the terrain a little bit and create the bridge from here, and doing the same thing probably on this side. Just a little bit more struggle. So I'm doing the same thing right now, and then you can create the perfect angle and the perfect bridge. Then I already saw that the bridge wasn't completely straight, so I will fix that in a minute. Trying to create or making the edges all smooth, and I wanted to raise the path a little bit when you're walking towards the other side of the building, so you will have a better view of the animals from this side. It's not a huge difference in the terrain, but I do like to have a little bit of differences in the terrain. It looks more alive, I would say. So I'm fixing that bridge right now, and it didn't fit. Well, if you delete it, it doesn't come back in the same way. So I had a little trick to fix that, but it worked. So right now I'm starting on the staff facilities. I really wanted to, not create a building next to this one, but I really had to. This is franchise, so you will need these staff buildings for basically every habitat. I tried to make it look as good as possible. But still it looks a little bit weird to have a building next to a building. But yeah, it didn't fit into the reptile house, so there was no space for these staff buildings. And there's also like a negative influence or an impact on the guests if they can see, or the game thinks they can see the staff buildings. Also, if you're decorating them perfectly, it still has a negative impact. So it's better to put them outside of this building and make sure the path doesn't go into that influence area, and then it's all fine. So I'm not creating, I'm trying to stick with the design of the reptile house. So with these wooden trims and the same roof. I didn't go for the glass walls, of course, because it's a staff building and that would look a little bit weird. So I'm decorating it just a little bit more. And you will see me putting down the staff parts. And then I thought, alright, I don't have any toilets yet, I think, in this park, and the guests might want to use it. And also I really hope that this will help to get all the guests towards this side of the zoo, because basically no one is watching the crocodiles now, and because I think the park is getting too big, or I use too much space and the people don't want to walk that far to see the animals. So I really hope when we will be further with this tropical area that the animal or the guests will actually come to this part, and maybe these toilets, and I will add some shops later. Or I actually already added some shops, of course, on the inside of the reptile house, and I really hope that will help to attract some guests towards this site. So I'm putting down the solar panels and using the same air conditioning structures from Mr. Domez. You can find them on the Steam Workshop. They really look good. I just experimented a little bit with that to see how it looks. So making sure that we have some power and some clean water for the animals. And then I'm starting, with some barriers. We normally don't see that, I know. But I always try to cover up the back of the habitat with some barriers. And I think these are the only barriers that I will use. So I'm struggling a little bit with the path again. And I'm putting down the staff pathing just around the building. Because I only had one entrance. And then I thought I might fix that in the next episode, that this will also be the way for the staff to reach the turtles inside the building. So I still have to check if that's possible. I just want the staff building to be as close as possible to the animals, just to make sure that I don't have any struggles with that. So creating a little viewing area here, and then I just had to think, okay, is this actually possible what I'm trying to do? But we will see. And it works in the end. So guests are not running away because they are entering the habitat. It works fine like this. So I'm, again, using a lot of rocks for this habitat to create the barriers so the animals won't escape. Again, the crocodiles are not the most athletic animals, so they won't really escape that easily. So only a few rocks on the side is fine. I'm doing this terrain work right now, but in the end of the video you will see I was not happy with the shape of the entire habitat. So I'm fixing that. You will see me removing the water again and doing a little bit more terrain work. So I will create a place for the animals on the other side as well. And I'm making sure that the staff can actually reach that part. I'm just checking the transversable area, so there's already an animal in. And I wanted to create a simple but custom bridge Then I found this pathing and I put on the railing and the supports, and that was actually what I was trying to go for, these kind of supports. So I just stick with the normal pathing and the normal bridge, and then I starting on the foliage. The crocodiles don't like a lot of foliage, so also in the end you will see me just moving the barriers around just to create or just to make the animals happy, and making sure that there's not too much coverage. Actually, these water lilies, I end up deleting them, and I make sure that the animals can eat. That's also good. And building a little palm tree and some plants, and also for the guests, just to make it look good. Then you can see me already deleting some stuff. I always check like the entire habitat, how it looks, and just not throw down any foliage if you're not completely happy with it. A little bit more rocks. I didn't like the big rock, so I deleted it and replaced it for some smaller ones. I really like to put the rocks in the water as well. It makes it look less boring, just the entire water area. So again, a lot of plants on the side, but these are actually outside the habitat, so they don't count for the coverage for the animal. So the donation boxes, of course we need some donation boxes, and I thought it would fit that the guests won't feed the animals from the bridge, because that will probably something that the guests will do in real life. So making sure we have enough education, some speakers and some TV screens, some benches and some bins, of course. And I know this video is a little bit shorter, so we almost reached the end of this video already. Because I'm starting redoing the habitat a little bit right now, so I'm doing the terrain work, but that will be mostly it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you hit the like button, and if you didn't do it already, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out on any new content, and I will speak to you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.